Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Church of Evanston. I'm Reverend Susan Francis, and we're having our engagement fair, so I know lots of you are busy, so I invite you to come into your seats, and there'll be time to finish setting up at the end of the service. I'm here this morning with Enzo Wallin and Michael Drennan and Curtis Evans and Erlene Howard, and we're going to have a fun morning. We're so glad that you have come into this place. This morning we're doing things a little differently. I want to welcome you to our UU Climate Justice Revival worship service. We are joining congregations all over the country for a time of renewal and recommitment at the intersection of the climate crisis and the deep justice commitments of our congregation. Whether UCE is your spiritual home or you are newly discovering us, we are grateful to share this time together. We strive to be an inclusive and welcoming community, seeking truth in love and nurturing the human spirit for a world made whole. We are guided by our principles and values, which remind us in every moment and through every challenge that each of us is worthy of love and that we are all connected through the vast and beautiful web of existence. We come together to remember our kinship with one another and to hold one another in heart and mind with tenderness and careful attention, and to dedicate ourselves more fully to living our shared values. People of all ages are welcome. We have up here our nest, which has quiet toys for young people, and our nursery is available in room 11 every Sunday. As part of being a welcoming and inclusive community, we have some information posted on the screen, slides that when you get here early, if you want to read them closer, they also run before the service to help you get to know our space a little better. We have a few announcements. We're hosting the Soup Kitchen October 2nd and 9th. And we still need just a few more volunteers. Ellie Feddersen is our coordinator this year, and she is waving at you from the back, so you can sign up there after the service. And from our UU The Vote group, we have two announcements about how to get involved in Wisconsin. The first is to recommend the events happening at the First Unitarian Society of Milwaukee on November 1st through 3rd, that weekend right before. They're going to have a weekend of community and canvassing. And the second is a live announcement from Sarah Vanderwicken about getting out the vote in Milwaukee. Sarah, come on up.
Hi, so it's 36 days to November 5th. There's still time, and there's still a lot to be done. I'm personally motivated by two things. One is that literally every vote counts. So when you go up to a DMV or you go canvassing, you may not get a lot of people that respond to you. But the Wisconsin Dems have they've looked statistically at the voting results from over the last...
We're not partisan, so we can't talk about the Democratic Party.
Well, no, don't worry about it. They have done a study showing that the vote margin for victory or loss in the last several elections has come down to 2 to 4 people per voting precinct, which they call wards. So that's 2 to 4 people, so if you get a couple of people that you have registered, that might make a difference. So it really does matter, even though it can be boring, it can be long, it can be tiring, it is worth it. It is really worth it, and it's not that hard to do. So I encourage people to go over to the table for UU The Vote and get a link to the sign-up sheet. You can go by yourself, or you can go find another person here who has been trained to go up and do that, and get out there. We've got several weeks to go. And remember also and it's fun. I mean, you get energized by doing it, and you get to meet people, and it's great people watching and so on. The other thing that motivates me is November 6th, and thinking about not having done everything I could if Trump wins. So just keep that in mind.
So I am whispering in Sarah's ear a reminder that as a faith community, we are nonpartisan, that we don't endorse a party or a candidate, and that what we do is try to live our values out in the world. And so we're having conversations with folks about the vision of what we want our country to look like on November 6th. And that we can do with freedom, to talk about your vision of America come November 6th. So I encourage you to take advantage of the opportunities in Wisconsin. I encourage each one of you to vote and to talk to people you know about your values and what that looks like in the coming election. So. Today, after the service, as I said, is our engagement fair. You will see around the sides of the sanctuary, up here in front as well, 30 groups are here today. And so I encourage you to stay and to wander around. You don't have to volunteer with every group you stop at. But it's a chance for you to really visualize and get to know oh, I know someone who loves reading, and I remember seeing, that we have a fiction and a nonfiction book group. I know someone who's super interested in social justice, and I remember I saw so-and-so at these tables. So please do walk around and talk to each other and share with each other what you're doing here at UCE. All of the pieces from today's service are adapted from the Climate Justice Revival materials. There are 14 UU groups who all came together nationally, put together an intensive curriculum, which I'm happy to send to any of you. It is a lot of material. But today we're using pieces from their worship portal. And I have to tell you, I had to stop and think about what does it mean that we are using the word revival. And so I had to look it up in the Merriam-Webster dictionary, and it gives several definitions. One is the state of being revived, such as a renewed attention to or interest in something. And today we are giving our renewed attention to celebrating all of creation and recommitting to the care and protection of our world, including the people who are most impacted by climate disruption. Today, we will strive to move past systems and cultures of extraction and to usher in a new era with love and justice at its center. Another definition under revival is an often highly emotional evangelistic meeting. And we are evangelizing for the care of the world. We are evangelizing, for the care of the world, right? We are evangelizing for the spread of a spiritual, political, and social culture that has love and justice at its center all the time. With this definition in mind, I am going to call upon you to respond out loud on occasion. I am going to invite you to come forward. Thank you. And so the first act of coming forward is we're going to sing our introit, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. And I invite those of you who want to come to the front to stand and face your fellow congregants. I invite those of you online to stand and feel moved with the rest of us. We're going to sing all three verses of Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. Please rise. Please come forward. Enter, Welcome to worship. Please be seated as I invite Michael to acknowledge the marginalized communities who were the stewards of this land before it was our home. And I just want to say to folks online to please get a stone or a wooden object that you can have for later in our worship service. Welcome to worship.
Good morning. The Unitarian Church of Evanston resides on land that was recorded as being transferred from the local Potawatomi community to the U.S. government in 1829. Shortly before the Potawatomi in this area were forcefully removed west of the Mississippi. This land was then sold to white settlers. We remember the ancestors of contemporary African Americans, the individuals, families, and networks of black people who built up our country's culture and economy, a role forced on them originally by enslavement. We acknowledge the intentional violence that landed on North American shores in 1619 has continued throughout the generations and remains a reality today. These acknowledgments are one small effort toward building a long-term solidarity with contemporary communities. We commit ourselves to take what we learn here today and incorporate it into our lives and turn our thoughts into actions. Please join in our words of shared commitment. We name these realities with honor for all the ancestors, respect for our descendants, and gratitude for the land we use as sacred space. Throughout religious history, revivals have marked periods of resurgence in people's commitment to their faith traditions. Classic American tent revivals took people out of the four walls of the church and into the world. They brought the community together and served as a galvanizing force for the future, oftentimes during periods of great change and anxiety. In the midst of overlapping climate crises and mounting social injustice, we're in a time of great change and profound anxiety. Taking a note from those who've gone before us, the UUA Climate Justice Revival is meant to be a time to come together and recommit. When Unitarian Universalists light our chalice, we're doing more than moving a bit of flame from a little stick to our favorite candle. When Unitarian Universalists light our chalices, we're showing what happens when we harness the power of fire. As the green team lights our chalice, symbol of our living tradition, please join in saying the adapted words on the screen by Reverend Megan Foley, Deputy Director for Congregational Life at our Unitarian Universalist Association. Fire is one of our world's most sacred elements. Perhaps because it always causes change. Fire warms and feeds. Fire destroys and eliminates. With a bit of attention and care, fire works with us to reveal, to show, literally to illuminate. Fire helps us to see and to survive. And so fire is an especially sacred symbol today at our Climate Justice Revival, because we're in need of change. We're in need of warmth and sustenance, and we need to clear a bright new path for ourselves and the world. May this chalice of captured fire be a symbol today of our passion, our care, our brilliance in the face of great need. Like fire, we are powerful. We create great change. Please rise in body and spirit and join in saying the words of our covenant. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Before we sing our opening hymn, I invite those joining us online to greet each other in the chat and those gathered in the sanctuary to turn to one another briefly to say good morning. Try to greet someone new to you.
Please stay after the service and continue your conversations during our engagement fair. If you are new to UCE, I want to direct you that the membership team is at the back where the red tablecloth is. You could start there and then work your way around. Let's keep creating new relationships and building kinship among us. Please remain risen and join in singing our opening hymn, Blue Boat Home. Thank you, Kiley and Gregory. Thank you all. We are going to have a video. The story is What Do You Do with a Problem by Komi Yamad, and it's going to be read by our UUA president, Reverend Sophia Betancourt.
As we continue the celebration of our revival together, I am so excited to bring you a story by one of my favorite children's authors, Kobi Yamada. The images are by May Bisum. This story is called, What Do You Do with a Problem? I don't know how it happened, but one day I had a problem. I didn't want it. I didn't ask for it. I really didn't like having a problem, but it was here. It was here. Why is it here? What does it want? What do you do with a problem? I thought. I wanted it to go away. I shooed it, I scowled at it, I tried ignoring it, but nothing worked. I started to worry about my problem. What if it swallowed me up? What if my problem sneaks up and gets me? What if it gets me? What if it takes away all of my things? I worried a lot. I worried about what would happen. I worried about what could happen. I worried about this, and I worried about that. And the more I worried, the bigger my problem became. I wished it would just disappear. I tried everything I could to hide from it. I even found ways to disguise myself, but it still found me. And the more I avoided my problem, the more I saw it everywhere. I thought about it all the time. I didn't feel good at all. I couldn't take it anymore. This has to stop, I declared. Maybe I was making my problem bigger and scarier than it actually was. After all, my problem hadn't really swallowed me up or attacked me. I realized that I had to face it. So even though I didn't want to, I really didn't want to, even though I was really afraid, I got ready and I tackled my problem. When I got face to face with it, I discovered something. My problem wasn't what I thought it was, and I discovered that it had something beautiful inside. My problem held an opportunity. It was an opportunity for me to learn and grow, to be brave, to do something. It showed me that it was important to look closely because some opportunities only come once. So now I see problems differently. I'm not afraid of them anymore because I know their secret. Every problem has an opportunity for something good. You just have to look for it. And that, my loves, is the end of our story.
So for our song response to our Time for All Ages, I invite you to stand and we're going to sing the first verse of The Fire of Commitment. As you settle back into your seats, I invite you into a time of quiet reflection as we share our joys and sorrows. If you have a joy or sorrow you would like spoken aloud during a service, you may write it in this book, which lives on the table right inside the sanctuary lobby doors. Or there's a form on the front page of our website that you can fill out, or you can email myself or Reverend Eileen. We listen to these offerings with tenderness and respect, taking a moment to breathe in together, to exhale slowly. And these are our joys and sorrows that have been shared before the service. From Chris Yu, A sorrow for all of those impacted by Hurricane Helene. My family in Florida are safe and healthy, but my dad's and my brother's houses are uninhabitable. Thankfully, they will be okay, and sharing a sorrow for those hit harder or with fewer resources to recover. Janelle Britton shares that she is grateful that since her brother's recent passing, 3 organizations who he volunteered and helped to raise funds for have each set up a large benefit event in his name over the next month. And one is establishing a Volunteer of the Year award in his name that will be designated for many years to come. His legacy of having a positive impact will live on. Janelle is also very grateful for the wonderful support from this community through your calls, cards, and hugs. Melanie Kitchener shares that she shared this on the Facebook member-to-member and is so grateful for so many of you sharing her concern. Her husband, Irving Kitchener, lives in a residential home in Skokie. He fell recently and broke his femur. Surgery was on Tuesday. Rods were inserted into his femur with the expectation he'd be able to walk again. Sadly, he's been sleeping most of the time, refuses medication and assistance of occupational and physical therapists. My kids and I are doing well, and we trust that Endeavor Healthcare will get him on his feet. Our thoughts are with you, and I'm putting a moratorium on femur breaks. This is our 3rd in not too long, so everybody step lightly. Ellen and George Rieger are delighted to share news of the birth on September 26th of their newest grandchild, Annie Louise Olson. The parents, Gina and Brett Olson, are overjoyed to have a sister for their 2-year-old son, Henry. Barbara and Bob Mesley have both joys and sorrows to share. They recently lost a dear friend of over 50 years. As their undergraduate religion professor and later teaching colleague, he helped them both grow out of the religion of their youth into a larger spiritual world. And sadly, Bob's sister, the Honorable Judge Ann Mesley, remains a smaller version of herself after her stroke last Thanksgiving. Joyously, last night, the Mesleys attended an event where Anne received a Lifetime Legacy Award from the Kansas City Bar Association, of which she is a past president. The whole family sat at her table to celebrate, and I just want to acknowledge this was from last Sunday, so to give Barb and Bob your thoughts. And from Mary Beth Ross, we have a celebration of 2 of our members. 2 members of UCE have been inscribed on the new wall mural, 100 Years of Women Living a Legacy, which was dedicated yesterday. Congratulations to Gay Risenborough and Kristen Lems, whose names are inscribed on this beautiful mural. Stop by the L underpass at Clark and Benson to see the mural and Gay's and Kristen's names and the names of many other Evanstonian women past and present. These names are just the beginning. Sharing these concerns of the heart is part of the practice of beloved community. Together, we expand our celebrations and lessen the burden of our grief. You are invited to come forward. We have candles at the tables on either side by the doors or up front. And if you would like a candle brought to you, please raise your hand. Please come forward. Words for these joys we give our thanks, for these sorrows we give our love. We will do a communal prayer today. Our prayer this morning is titled Prayers of the People and Planet by the UU Climate Justice Revival Worship Team. We are reminded that fear stifles imagination and limits our capacity for relationships that embrace our beautiful and abundant humanity. Fear is the cynical cycle of supremacy and extreme relationships with each other and our planet. We are reminded that reimagining together is how we overcome fear. Imagining together is how we build new relationships and a new era, putting love at the center. Today, especially, We put love at the center of our work for climate justice. As Curtis and Enzo and Erlene and Michael and I read the leader parts of this prayer, please join in the congregational response on the screen. Let us reimagine a new era together. I will gesture so you know.
Beginning right here in our congregation, we pray for ourselves that we open our hearts to be companions, caring for a hurting world, and committing to create a world of flourishing.
Let us reimagine a new era together.
With reverence for the great web of life and with humility, we acknowledge our place in it. We commit to protect the earth and all beings from exploitation. So we pray for the land, the ecosystem, all species, the entire natural world.
Let us reimagine a new era together.
We pray for justice for local frontline communities who are impacted first, worst, and longest by climate change and who face systemic oppression.
Let us reimagine a new era together.
In our reimagining, we gain the capacity to recommit to communities of mutual support, which are the building blocks of an ecosystem of mutual survival.
Let us reimagine a new era together.
We look towards each other, people of faith, good conscience, and spirit, leaning on one another and trusting in the hope we can create together.
Let us reimagine a new era together.
We make right the wrongs of the past, not by ignoring them, but by doing the difficult work of disseminating the oppressive systems and behaviors and feed our illusions of separation. May we live in a way that honors our interdependence and acts in accordance with our interconnection with all people and the planet.
Let us reimagine a new era together.
As we begin in local communities of support, we find the strength and courage to widen our circles of concern, resisting hierarchical value and ideologies of scarcity.
Imagine a new era together.
In widening and connections, we discover relations in the salt kitchens of Kiribati, the solid ground of New Taka, and the life valley of the Rio Guapanal.
Let us reimagine a new era together.
Humility and commitment, we acknowledge our own part in so much harm to our relations. Encroachment, dying, trust, and refuge, illegal mining.
Let us imagine a new era together.
May we set down fear. May our courage to face the intersecting systems of harm lead us to strengthen, to create intersecting practices of love and healing so that all may flourish.
Let us reimagine a new era together.
Reimagining together, we build new relationships. We put love at the center of climate justice work, and we commit.
Let us reimagine a new era together. Amen, and blessed be. As we sing our response, our young people, preschool through 6th grade, through 8th grade, are invited to head to their faith formation time with their adult leaders. Parents of the 2nd through 5th grade group should meet their children at the engagement fair back up here at the Nest. All the other children and youth will be in their groups until noon like usual. And everyone else, please remain seated as we sing Spirit of Life.
Come unto me,
As we say in our covenant each Sunday, service is our law. UCE is called by our mission, values, and principles to contribute to our community and form accountable partnerships to express gratitude through giving. Today's offering will be shared with the Evanston Reparation Community Fund, administered by the Reparation Shareholders Authority. The funds benefit Evanston's Black community to heal racism and address harm caused by discriminating practices. You may text to give, mail a check, put cash in the collection bowl, or give from our website. If you write a check, please note in the memo line if the check is for the shared offering or some other giving. The ushers will now come forward and pass the collection bowls down the aisles. Please give as generously as you are able, and may what you give bring you joy.
Our reflection this morning is a series of poems adapted from author Rachel Mishlivy, who is the climate justice strategist for the Side with Love organizing strategy team of the UUA. Her reflection is titled, "When We Center Love in Our Climate Movements." And the five of us are going to share her words. The love that lives at the center of our faith is a love that expects nothing less of us than the rebuilding of this struggling world. We hold a love greater than we know between and among us, born from all that we hold holy. It takes many of us in community to insist that a better future is possible. As the Reverend Dr. Sophia Bentecourt invites us to hold love at the center of our faith, we must equally ask, how do we center love in the climate movement? It starts when we faithfully ground our climate commitments in justice and the reality that climate change has the same roots as the extractive systems of harm and injustice that we fight so hard against, with the same roots and intersecting harms. Climate justice is racial justice, is gender justice, disability justice, mental health justice, immigration justice, LGBTQIA+ justice, earth justice, and more. When we provide safe housing for the trans teen rejected by their parents, living without shelter from climate disasters, when we offer sanctuary for our neighbors forced from their homes by climate disruption, when we open our doors as emergency shelters, when we advocate for labor protections for beloveds working in the extreme heat, when we fiercely defend our ecosystems, our water, our soils, our air, saving them not just for the privileged few, but for all of our beloved communities, when we ground our climate commitments in these challenging realities, my friends, may I hear you say, love grounds.
Love grounds. Love at the center of the climate strategy connects when we realize that even as the root causes are inextricably linked, so too must be our solutions. When we refuse to overlook climate injustice, when we shift from me and mine to we and ours, when we understand our interdependence, when we know in our bodies that the work is more than technical solutions for those who can't afford solar or electric cars, when we advocate for clean energy, clean water, clean air as human rights, as nature rights, as earth rights, let me hear the congregation say, love connects.
Love connects. Love at the center of our climate resilience builds when we overwhelm the challenging realities with community care. As Toni Morrison says, it's not possible to constantly hold into crisis. You have to have the love. You have to have the magic. You have to have that also life. When we bring joy to our movement spaces, shared snacks at our meetings, and as we knit socks and crack jokes, when we bounce babies on our knees, when we strategize, when we laugh, when we play, when we draw our faith, our inner strength, our hope, our dreams, our creativity, our magic, when we creatively and joyfully elevate all of the many, 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 many ways we can create new worlds together. Friends, may I hear you say, love builds.
Love builds.
Love at the center of our climate action transforms when we realize we need a new way, when we balance what my community needs with what brings me joy, when we experiment with new ways of being, thinking, relating, and acting together, when we admit that I alone do not have the answer, when we reject those extractive systems of harm, when we reimagine our relationships, our communities, the world we want together, my friends, let me hear you say, love transforms.
Love transforms. Love at the center of our climate partnerships nourishes when we overwhelm those challenging realities with collective care, when we recognize and honor the places where our deep gladness and the world's deep hunger meet, when we listen, when we faithfully respond, when we embrace imperfection and offer grace, when we listen with curiosity and intention, and when we communicate with humility and care, when we offer joy in the struggle. Friends, may I hear you say, love nourishes.
Love nourishes.
When we dream about what could be, when we commit to make it so, when we clasp hands and say, yes, we can do this, even when we may not know the way. When we guide our shared work with hope for the future and commitment to collective liberation, when we save what we love, when we joyfully, faithfully, imperfectively, and beautifully recreate our world so that all our communities thrive, let me hear you say, love reimagines.
Love reimagines.
When love is at the center of our climate movements, let me hear you. Love grounds.
Love grounds.
Love connects.
Love connects.
Love builds.
Love builds.
Love transforms.
Love transforms.
Love nourishes.
Love nourishes.
Love reimagines.
Love reimagines.
Let's reimagine together, friends, a world where all communities thrive with love at the center of it all. Blessed be. Amen.
An anthem is a rousing or uplifting song identified with a particular group or cause. For this special denomination-wide climate justice revival, the planning team commissioned an anthem to celebrate not just today, but to carry forward in years to come, identifying our work for climate justice. The talented musicians Lea Morris and Adam Pod have gifted us with the song entitled Part of It. It calls us to choose survival and make an art of it. Poetic ways of stating that we are committed to working for a flourishing world because our care of the planet and all its creatures is an existential task. The lyrics reflect a sense of urgency, as well as passion, dedication, and joy in the work. The song also calls us to curiosity, humility, creativity, and grace. The work does not fall on one person's shoulders alone. Contributions individuals make are part of the solution. We must ground our solutions in community care with love at the center. Let us reimagine together. Please enjoy this performance by the Neighborhood UU Church.
Stand by.
I think of an event that goes on and on and on. And so clearly the materials they provided us are long and lengthy, so we are just over time. So we're going to do a shortened version of our ritual for action. So I do invite you folks to go to the mic, and we're just going to start with, does everybody have a stone? Folks at home, do you have a stone or a wooden object? Does everybody here have a stone? And if you don't, raise your hand, and Enzo and Curtis will bring you a stone. So this ritual was meant to facilitate connection and a sense of community. This ritual for action, a ritual being shared in many forms with UUs across the Western Hemisphere, in 45 states, the Virgin Islands, Canada, Mexico. This ritual is intended to help us embody what we've been talking about, thinking about, and singing about. So I invite you to take a few deep breaths in as folks get their stones, to clear your mind, soften your gaze, make sure you're comfortable. And the next time you exhale, to think about the object in your hand. Is it smooth or rough? Is it warm or cold? Can you feel the shape of it? If your eyes are open, what color is it? With our connection with this object representing our connection with the earth, let our ritual begin.
Air is the symbol of life.
Fire is a symbol of wisdom.
Water is a symbol of renewal.
Earth is a symbol of creativity.
Earth is a symbol of creativity. Taking in another deep breath, bring to mind your hopes and wishes for this interconnected environment of which humans are a part. Be creative and expansive in your dreaming of the future. And when you have those thoughts in mind, take another breath in. And when you exhale, send all those hopes and dreams and wishes into the object in your hand. This object is now your reminder to act in ways that will bring about those dreams and wishes and hopes. I will give a commission and a blessing to each of the 4 folks on the chancel, who in turn will walk down the aisles, and they will give the blessing to the person on the end. And they'll hand you that piece of paper so that you can then give the blessing to the person next to you. And because we have stones, you're invited to hold out your hand. Do you have your stone? To hold out your hand. And the person giving the commission and blessing is going to put their hand over, and if you're comfortable, you're going to touch hands. You are commissioned to act for climate justice. I bless you with earth, this stone. May you do the creative work that must be done to care for those who need the touch of kindness and to nourish flourishing everywhere. And if you don't want to touch hands today, I invite you to close your stone in your hand and put it to your heart, and the person can still bless you, and you can turn and still give the blessing to those next to you. So Michael will step down and start in this section, and I will bless the others, and they will come through and give the blessing. You are commissioned to act for climate justice. I bless you with the earth. May you do the creative work that must be done to care for those who need a touch of kindness and to nourish flourishing everywhere. Blessings. You are commissioned to act for climate justice. I bless you with earth, this stone. May you do the creative work that must be done to care for those who need the touch of kindness and to nourish flourishing everywhere. Blessings. You are commissioned to act for climate justice. I bless you with earth. May you do the creative work that must be done to care for those who need the touch of kindness and to nourish flourishing everywhere. Blessings. My friends, we are going to skip the final hymn. I know it's a hymn you know well, and so I invite you to sing it as you drive or bike or walk home.
and we will extinguish the chalice. So I invite my worship associates to go back to their microphones, and Michael will lead us as the green team steps forward to extinguish the chalice. I think Reverend Eileen and Andy Fisher are our, besides folks on the chancel, are our green team today.
As we extinguish the chalice, please join us in saying the words on the screen by the Reverend Elizabeth Sell Jones. We
extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Our benediction is by Reverend Peggy Clark.
Knowing how quickly the flame of truth may be extinguished, how easily the chalice of fellowship broken.
Let us keep vigil. In faith, keep peace in our hearts and make care for one another the watchword for our lives together.
So our light goes out everywhere, into the world. Our light goes out everywhere, healing and hope are needed. Let us go in peace to love and serve this world and one another.
May your stone be a reminder of the work to be done in the world, and may this community support you and engage all of us as we move forward into a new era with love at the center of justice. For those of you online, have a beautiful day. Our service is at an end. For those of you who are here, I hope you stay for our engagement fair. I want to plug Realm. If you haven't got a Realm login, please see Adam. Please come get a picture with Kathy Diamant. We're trying to get photos in all the Realm profiles to help our new staff, like our intern, Emma. And have a blessed, blessed day. Go in peace.
Thank you.